Okay, so welcome back to this channel. So now in this video we will discuss about ShadCN. So if you don't know, ShadCN is basically a collection of reusable components that we can use in our application. Behind the scenes, ShadCN uses Tailwind to style the components. Okay, you can see that this is the official website of ShadCN. If I go to this Get Started button, click on that. You can see that this is not a component library. It is collection of reusable components that you can copy and paste into your apps. So this is not a library that we have to install in our application or we have to add some sort of CDN. Okay, it is just collection of reusable components that we can add in our applications, and we can also modify those components. For example, if I only need button, I just have to add the button. I don't have to add rest of the components in my application. So that's the beauty of ShadCN, that we don't have to install it as a dependency. We can just add the components, and those components are going to be part of our application rather than a dependency. Okay, so first of all, let's see how we can install and set up ShadCN with Next.js. In this video we are going to use Next.js, but you can set up that with React or any other application. So first of all, let's click on this installation. I click on this Next.js. First of all, we have to create a Next.js application. So I will copy this command to create my next application. So I go back to my terminal and I paste that here, and I give the name of this application, let's say ShadCN with Next.js. Okay, so let's create the application. No, yes, no, and that will create the Next.js application. Now let's open this application in our VS Code. Okay, so this is Next.js application. I will create a new terminal here, and now let's install ShadCN in here. I go back, and then here you can see that we have to use this ShadCN UI CLI command to initialize our project. So I copy it from here, copy that, and I go back and I put that here, and that will initialize our application. So first of all, I have to select the style. You can use a default or New York style. I will use default, and the colors, base color is going to be neutral. I type here, click yes, and then it will install all the dependencies and set up this component.json file. So you can see that here, this is the file. If I open that, it has all the configurations of ShadCN, like our global CSS file, our Tailwind config file, our base color, and all the details. And also it has created a new file that is called this lib. In this lib we have this utils.ts that contain this function. So ShadCN will use this function to merge our CSS classes, Tailwind classes basically. Okay, and then we have this component folder in which ShadCN will add all the components that we want to add. Okay, so if I go back, now you can see that we have configured components.json file. Now let's add a component. For example, I want to add a button, so I can simply use here npx ShadCN-UI at latest add button, and that will just add button in our application. So let's add that. If I go back and I paste it here, press enter, you can see that here installing button, so that will add the button file in our components. So if I go to the components, it has a UI folder, and I have here button.tsx that contain the code. Now you can see that these are Tailwind classes. You can modify this component if you want. Okay, but this is how ShadCN will add the component. And now let's start building some pages with ShadCN. So first of all, let's build a sign up page with header and footer with ShadCN. So first of all, I will go on the components, create a new file in here that is called header.tsx, and in that let's design the header first of all. So I will give some Tailwind classes here, like flex, items, dash center, and then justify between. You can change that if you want. Give some padding x and then padding y of 2, and then let's give background of white and dark bg dash gray, that is going to be 800, and then give border. Okay, and then after that let's add here link, and let's import link from next/link, and the href is going to be slash, and we don't need here actually a tag. First of all, let's close this link, and in that we will add an icon, let's say container, and we have to import that from the Lucid React. So by default it will be installed. So this is a icon library. So I will give here a class name, and width and height is going to be 10, like this. Okay, and then I will add here a span. Let's give class of text dash lg and then font dash semi bold, like this. And let's call it shop it. If I save it, and now if I go back to my app in the page.tsx, let's first of all render this component in here. I will type in here header, and let's run the application. So I create a new terminal here and type here npm run dev. First of all, let's see what we get back. And also if I go back, I can go to Lucid React website. So this is their website, and click on icons, and you can search all the icons in here. So you can see that here we get here this header, and now we have this shop it. Now let's make the icon small. So that is going to be 8, let's say. Save it, and now if I go back, we have this icon. And let's also give here class name. Let's call it flex, and then items dash center and gap of 2. If I save it and go back, you can see that this is our logo. You can change that if you want. So in this header we have our logo. Now let's add here login button and user profile. Okay, so for that I will simply, after this link, I will add here div with class name of hidden. Let's also give here on medium screen, let's give flex and then gap of 4, and then we can give margin right, so mr-1. So in that, basically let's add here button. We also have to install ShadCN button, I think so. We already have here, so let's use the button in here. So I will use button from UI/button, and then let's give here class name of margin bottom of 2. Okay, and I will use it as child. So on this button, let's add a link, okay, that will go to /login, for example, and the text name is going to be login. If I save it, go back, you can see that here we have this beautiful login button. So this is the header, we have logo, we have this button. Now let's add user avatar here. Okay, so for that we have to install 2 components. One is going to be drop down menu. So drop down menu, which is this one. So we will display user icon. If I click on that, I will get here drop down options from that user, like settings, profile, logout. Okay, so let's first of all install this component, which is drop down menu, and now let's use that. So after this button, I will use drop down menu. So I will type here drop down menu, and in that I will use here drop down menu trigger, which is this one, and we have to use it from UI dash drop down menu. Okay, and then let's use it also as child. Now on this drop down trigger, I can define my button. So I will use here button, and it is going to contain an image of the user. And first of all, I will give here variant of this button line, and then I can give here size, that is going to be icon. Oops, that is going to be string. Okay, and then I can also use here class name, let's say overflow, hidden, and rounded full. Okay, and in that I have to use here image, so I will use here next image from next/image, and in that let's give here source, and the source is going to be /images/ user dot webp, and we have to import, and we can actually use here icon. So I will type here user from Lucid React and give here class name, let's say height of 4 and width of 4. If I save it and go back, you can see that here we have this login, and then we have here this button. Okay, let's increase the size to, let's say 5. You can also use here image if you want. Okay, I will use here icon. Okay, so now we have this user icon. If I click on that, I have to give a drop down menu. So now we have added here drop down trigger, which is going to be this user, And then after this trigger, let's define here drop down content and give here class name of align, that is going to be end. Okay, and we have to import that from here. Let's move this one and also remove this image. Okay, so we have to align that at the end, and then in that we can define our menu items. So drop down item, okay, in that we can define in our link. So that is going to be link href, for example, let's say profile. Okay, if I save it and go back, if I click on that, you can see that we have here this profile option. Okay, so let's copy this one. So copy that and put that here, and let's put that here. Let's call it settings, and then we can use in here logout. Okay, and then we can also use in here drop down separator. Oops, like this. If I go back, now you can see that here we have drop down menu with options of profile, settings and logout. Okay, so this is going to be our header with login button and then the user. Now let's first of all design the footer. So I will create a component in here with the name footer.tsx. Create empty component in here. I will use in here footer tag, and then let's give here class name. Let's say first of all dark bg gray, that is going to be dark bg dash gray, that is going to be 900, and then text dash gray dash 200, and then let's give padding y of 6. Okay, in that let's give another div class that is going to be container, and then margin x is going to be auto, then padding x of 4, then we can give here on medium screen padding x of 6, and then we can give here flex dash column, and then medium we can give here flex dash row, and then items dash center, and in that we can give here div, and let's give here text dash center, and then medium text is going to be left margin bottom of 4, and then let's also give here on medium screen margin bottom of 0. Okay, and now in that we can put in here a p tag, give here class of dash sm. In that we can define in here 2024, let's say shop it all rights reserved. Okay, if I go back, and we also have to render that in here, so I will use here footer, and now if I go back, you can see that this is my footer, and I also have to add some social icons here. And let's go to the footer, and what I will do here is after this div tag I will add here div. Let's give class of flex, and then items dash center, and then justify center, and then let's give here space x of 4. In that I can define all my social icons. So let's say I will use here link, and href is going to be, let's say slash, and that is going to be this. Okay, and then I can give here some classes. So class name, for example, text dash gray dash 400 gray 400, and then hover text dash gray, then transition color. So I can use here span, and in that I can put in here the name like YouTube, and for the icon I will use in here YouTube icon. Okay, so class name is going to be height and width of 6. If I go back, we have this YouTube icon in here, and what I will do here is I will simply copy this and put in here like for the Facebook icon, let's say git hub icon. Okay, so we have three icons in here, and let's also give here class of justify dash between. If I save it, and now this is going to be my footer. So I have here three icons and then here text. You can add more content if you want. So now we have designed two components with of header and footer. Now let's create our sign up component that contains the form. So I will create a new file in here. Let's say register.tsx. Okay, so let's first of all give here class name of flex, and then I give here minimum dash height is going to be screen. Okay, then flex dash 1, flex dash column, and then gap of 4, and let's give here background muted, that is going to be 40, and then justify dash center. Okay, and then in this div I have to use the card component from ShadCN. If I go back, I can search in here card. So this is going to be card component that we can use. So we have to first of all install that. I will install it and I will add it here. So let's first of all import all the card components like this. I will go here and I will import that. Okay, and then we can use these components. Okay, so first of all we have the card, then card header, then card description. In the card content we can add all our fields. Then we have card footer, and then that is card is closing. So I copy this code from here just to save some time, then I can put that in here. Simply save it. And now if I go back, and before that let's go to this page.tsx and let's add in here register like this. If I go back, you can see that here this is the footer, this is the header, and this is our card component. So let's first of all give class name here to card. So class name is going to be mx dash auto, width is going to be full but max width is going to be lg, and shadow dash lg. If I save it and go back, so this is going to be our component. You can see that here. Now we have to make this register card. So card header, let's type in here register, and I give here class name of, let's say, text dash 2xl to increase the font size like this. And for the card description, I will enter here, enter your information to create an account. Okay, so after this card header, in the content we have to add the sign up fields. Okay, so for that what I will do is I will remove this p from here and I will add here div, and that is going to be grid. I will use here grid dot, and gap is going to be 4 like this. In that I have to use in here my other div, and I will give here class of grid dot grid dash columns. Okay, and then let's give here gap of 4 like this. Okay, in that I can define my two fields, first name and last name. So let's say div dot grid dash gap dash 2, and now in that I can put in here my label first of all. So the label is going to be, let's say, name, that is going to be name, and then we have to use this input from the ShadCN. So if I go back and search in here input, this is input, so this is the code to add the input. Let's install that. So I will install the input, and then I can use that in here, input from UI slash input, and the type is going to be text, ID is going to be name. Okay, and I can also put in here place holder, let's say first name. Placeholder is going to be, let's say, John Doe, John. Okay, and then I will simply copy this div again for my second field, and that is going to be last name, first underscore name, then last underscore name like this. So now if I go back, you can see that here we have two fields, first name and last name, and we have to put that in the same row. and we have to put in here -2. If I go back, now you can see that here we have first name and then the last name, and we are using the ShadCN input. Now let's add email field. So what I will do is I will copy this from here and I will add that here, and that is going to be email. Email type is also going to be email. Hello at example.com. So this is our email field. In the same way, we can add more fields like password field. We can also add here a drop down, like you can use this select to display something like this. For example, I want to display the roles of the user, so I can simply use this. So if I install that, this select, and I can simply install that, and for example I will copy the code from here. I will copy that, import all the components, and then I can copy this select from here. So I will copy that and I will put that right here, div dot grid dot call gap -2. In that I can put my select. For example, I remove this role is going to be user, or maybe admin, or maybe let's say employee, whatever that is. Select a role. If I save it and go back, you can see that here we have select a role, and we can also add in here a label that is going to be role, and I will not give here any class. Save it. Now you can see that here we have this role field from where we can select user, admin and employee. So in this way we can also use this select component, and at the end we can also add in here a sign up button. So for example, I go back and let's remove this footer from here. We don't need that. You can also use this if you want. So what I will do is, after this I will add here button. Okay, so that is going to be register. Okay, and let's say type is going to be submit. Also we can give here class name of width full, like this. So this is our register button. Now let's add a icon here. So what I will do here is I will simply add in here mail plus. I will use this icon from Lucid React, and I give here class name, let's say this. So let's make it 4. So you can add icon like this in the button. So we have this register button, and then also we can add here let's say a div with class name of, let's say margin top of 4, and then text center, and then text small, like this. In that we can add like already have an account, and then we can add in here link, like this, and I will call it login. If I go back, we can type in here underline class to underline that. We don't have to import the link icon, we have to import the link from next/link. So I will import that from next/link, like this. Okay, so now we have designed this beautiful component page where we have this header with login button, and we have this form, and then we also have this footer. Now let's add here a button that will turn this page into dark mode or light mode, and that is actually quite simple. ShadCN has given all the code. We simply, if I go here, I can go in the dark mode, and let's click on this Next.js, and now let's add the code. First of all, let's install Next themes. So let's install that, and then we have to create this theme provider.tsx file in our component. So let's create that. Okay, in that we can add this code. Okay, so we are using this Next theme provider package, like this, and then we have to wrap our root layout inside this theme provider. So I will simply, let's say, copy that, go back in my layout.tsx file, and then we can add that here like this, and we have to import that from component/theme provider. Okay, and then we can have to close that in here like this. Okay, and then we have to add this toggle button. Okay, so I will go there and copy this code, and let's create a new component in here that is called toggle button .tsx, in that I will paste the code, and that just contains this drop down menu that have three options: light, dark, and system, that will set the theme. Okay, simple code. So now I just have to add this in my application. So I will simply go here in the, let's say, header. I can add that after this login button. Okay, so let's say I will add that here like this. If I go back, you can see that here now we have this button. If I click on light, so this is light. If I click on dark, now this page is dark. This is the dark mode. I can use here system, which is at this moment light. So in this way we can also change the color. Okay, so now after that, let's see one more component, which is sheet component. For example, if I go to inspect, if I move that, you can see that the options are gone. I also have to display here a hamburger that will open the menu for the mobile. So for that I have to use a component that is called sheet. If I search that, you can see this is the component. If I click on open, you can see that in this way we will open the side menu for the mobile. We can change the direction to this side. Okay, so first of all let's install it and let's use that. So let's install this sheet component, and then we can use that. So let's close these for now. We have to work in the header. So let's add in here our sheet. So if I go back to my here, and we can first of all import all the components from sheet. Let's put that here, and then I can go back and I can simply copy this code from here, and I will put that in here, save it. So now this is the sheet, and trigger I will use it as child. Okay, in that I will add a button. Okay, and in this button I will add first of all span and give here class of sr only, and that is going to be toggle menu. Okay, and let's also add here a hamburger icon that is going to be menu icon from Lucid React. Okay, and for the button I will use here a variant, so that is going to be variant, let's say outline, and then we can use in here size, that is going to be icon, and then we can use in here class that on large screen is going to be hidden, so large hidden. If I save it, and you can see that now we have this button. If I click on that, it is opening the sheet from this side, but I have to open that from other side. So to fix that I go back, then we can add here side, that is going to be left. Save it, and now if I click on that, now it is opening on this side. I just have to add here my menu. Okay, in this way we can create our mobile menu. Now I can simply, let's say, remove this from here. Let's add here div with the class name of grid, and let's give it maximum width of 200 pixel, 200 pixel. Okay, and then let's give here padding of 4. Okay, so I am just going to add some links. I will put those links here. Okay, that is going to be href, save it, and now if I go back, if I click on that, you can see that this is our mobile menu. You can also add logo in here, dashboard, my booking, setting, and logout. So in this way we can also use this sheet component to create our mobile menu. Now before closing, let's also see 2-3 more components. Okay, let's create a data table in here. Okay, so for that what I will do is I will go back and close this from here, and let's create in here a component. Let's call it data table demo.tsx, and we will add display our table in here. And I will use first of all this class, so I will copy that and I will put that in here. And let's go to this app and create here a new folder with the name, let's say, table. In that I will create my page.tsx file. Let's call it table page, and in that I will add my component. So I will first of all copy this from here and I put that in here. So let's import header and then the footer, and then we have to use in here data table. That is data table, not date table. So let's import that like this. If I save it and go back to here slash table, so here let's create the table. So for that, if I scroll down, I have here this table. I can simply use that. Okay, so if I click on copy, I can copy all the code from here. First of all, let's install that. So I will add table like this. Okay, so now let me close this from here and this from here. Now here first of all I have to add tabs. If I go back, let's search here the second component, that is going to be tabs. If I click on that, you can also add here tab like this. You can toggle the tabs. So let's also actually utilize that. So let me install it and then we will use that. So I will copy from here and I will install that, and then let's import the components from tab. That is going to be tabs, tabs content, tabs list, and tabs trigger. So what I will do is I will simply add in here. First of all, let's center it. So I will use here div, or I can simply copy that from register. So let me copy these classes. So div, I can put that in here, and here I can use my tabs. So let's say I will type here tabs. Okay, in that I can have div dot, let's say I give here class of flex and then items dash center, and then in that I can use my tabs list like this. So in the tab list I can use in here tabs trigger, and we have to pass in here the value. For example, that is going to be, let's say, week. Like this. Okay, so we have to find here three tabs: week, month, and year, and by default we will select here default value, that is going to be week. Okay, and this is our tabs list. Now we have to define here the tabs content. So I will type here tabs content, and the value is going to be week, and then we have to simply close the tabs content. So I will simply copy that and I put that here for month and then year, and that is going to be our default week. If I save it, now let's add here a p tag, let's say week. Copy that, I can put that here, let's put in here 1 2 2 3. Save it. Okay, so now if I go back, you can see that here we have three tabs: week, that will have this week, then month, then year. Okay, in this way we can use these tabs to toggle around. Now let's see how we can use that. So I will simply go to my VS Code. So now in this week, let's add a data table. So first of all, I will use a card. So to save some time, I simply go to my register component and copy this card component, and let's put that here. Okay, and I will go down and I will copy this also like this, and we also have to import this components from card. So I will import that. Okay, so first of all I will remove these classes from card, and then to card header I give a class, let's say padding x of 7, and then we have the card title, let's call it orders, and we can say that recent orders from your store, let's say. Okay, so this is the description. Now in the content we can add our table. If I save it, go back, you can see that this is going to be our orders, and here we will display the table. And let's first of all change it to 3XL. If I go back, so this is fine. Okay, so now in here we have to display the table. So first of all I will use here table, and the table, first of all I have table header. So table header. Okay, and let's first of all go back and search in here table, and let's import these components first of all, like this. Okay, so in the table header we can define in here table row, like this. Okay, now in the table row we can define all our table heads. So I will type here table head, and in that we can type in here like, let's say, customer, and then I will simply copy that and I put that here like this. So that is going to be, let's say, customer, then status, and then date, and then amount, like this. So now we have this table headers. Now we have to add the content. So for the content we know that we have to use table body, so we can use in here table body, and in that we can add all the content. Let's say I will add this content. If I save it, go back, you can see that here we have this customer, status, a date, and then the amount. Okay, I can also add in here some classes if I want, like I can add here to this row, for example. So second row I can add here class name of, let's say, BG accent, like this. Okay, and let's also use here badge for the status. So what is badge? If I search in here badge, which is this one, I can use this here. So let's install that. So I will install badge, then I have to import that, like, oops, like this, and then I have to use that. So let's say I will copy this from here, copy that, and I scroll down, and then here, let's say for this I will use badge. Then let's say variant is going to be outline. Okay, and then we can give in here class name. Let's give class name of text dash xs for small. That is going to be delivered. If I save it, and now you can see that we have that in the badge. You can also use that. We can also use in here like secondary, like this. Okay, so we can use that also. I will copy that and I put that in here, and also put that in here, save it, and this is how it will work. Okay, so we have used here tabs like this. We can use, you can use display other data in here, and then we have used in here this data table. So that's it for this video. We have used bunch of components in this video. I hope that you got the idea that how we can use ShadCN with Next.js and how we can integrate that. So if you have any question, you can post in the comment section. I will try my best to respond there. And you can get the source code of this video from the description of this video. I will add the Git repo link. Okay, so that's it. I will see you in some other video.